Thanks for tuning into High on Horror. I'm Drew.
And I'm John. This episode and every future episode is dedicated to all the horror hounds and smokers out there who want to expand their knowledge of the genre and have a good time.
This week we're creeping under your skin with the review for the creepy killer spider movie Infested, now streaming on Shudder. Now, if there's one thing that scares me in this world, truly, it's bugs. And I know spiders aren't insects, but they're close enough for me. They're creepy and they're crawly. John, do bugs bother you as much as they do me?
Nah, I used to own a tarantula back in middle school, and he ended up living for 10 years, died after graduated high school and everything. I actually named him Stone Cold after the wrestler.
That's badass.
I never handled them, but they just kind of fascinated me, and I enjoyed watching them. Only two bugs bother me, and it's cockroaches and the homeless snails that are called slugs.
The homeless snails. Well, I'm a little bitch when it comes to bugs. I fucking hate them. They're little monsters, but you know what? They make good movies. Anyway, if you listeners out there like movies of the arachnid sort, stick around to hear our thoughts on Infested today on High on Horror. Interviews, reviews, and the latest news all rolled into one. Alright, now if you hear that train a choo-chooing, you know it's time for Strain Wreck, the segment of our show where we tell you what strain we're getting wrecked on. This is the segment that we always like to start our show off with, because before we want to talk about horror movies, we want to get into the goods. You know, we want to get into the goods before we get into the goods. John, what's on the slab today?
You guys should smoke up as well with us, because, it makes us funnier in the long run.
We
need all the help we can get.
Spark one up and listen in.
I got another pre-roll this time. Well, not again. I think last time we had just some regular...
Who smokes so much? Who knows? Oh my God, I don't even remember.
Anyway, we got a pre-roll this week of Colonial Kush. Got us a whole
great.
gram, too.
It's a whole grammar. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything. You were actually here when I was trying to look it up. I couldn't find anything except I would open it like links, and it would after I couldn't find it on Leafly, and it was this is an indica strain. It may make you tired. I know that. I want information on the specific strain. But anyway, Colonial Kush here, just from the label here. This one I didn't even know before I got it. It's 36.82% THC. And it has 3.3% terpenes. The highest one is limonene. I'm sure I always pronounce these wrong, but nobody's told me otherwise yet. And limonene, the aroma is a citrus. The effects are appetite control, anti-inflammatory, and gastric reflux. God knows I need help with that gastric reflux. And... I'll be ripping them. The other one, caroflanine. The aroma is pepper, wood, spice. It's also good for anti-inflammatory, pain relief, antioxidant, and relaxant. So I'm going to spark this shit up.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Oh, so we don't know if it causes dry mouth or not. We're gonna have to see.
I'm gonna say yes. I don't know why that's not on every one, because I can't think of anyone that is not giving me dry mouth.
Agreed. We're gonna need to grab some drinks when we take a break here in a bit. But while you light that up and pass it over, before we get into Infested, Jesus Christ. I'm already so baked. Haven't even hit this shit yet.
You do get infected by the infestation.
Fair enough. Anyway, real quick though, before we get into Infested, I wanted to talk about the vampire movie Abigail that just came out in theaters. Is already available to rent on VOD as of last week. If you're listening to this episode of this podcast, it's already out. I didn't get to see this one. I didn't think it looked that good, honestly. It looks like a comical remake of Livid, the French vampire film by Julien Maury and Alexandre Bustillo, the directors of Inside. But this got awesome reviews. I couldn't believe it. Mostly glowing and positive, so I'll definitely watch it soon.
Yeah, and I'll pass that. That tastes fantastic.
All right, this Colonial Kush.
Colonial Kush. I know we haven't talked about it at all until you just brought it up, but I wanted to see it in theaters. Never got a chance to. I think it looks decent, and I want to watch it here soon. I kind of got I couldn't think of the movie. I kind of got somewhat like Renfield vibes from it.
Yeah, almost like, but
And
not
I
as
was
comical.
like, hey, I was hesitant on Renfield, and it was okay, but it was definitely better than I thought it would have been. I mean, Abigail didn't seem that bad. Somebody on my Facebook posted today, and they're not a huge horror fan. They're very selective in the horror they like, and they were a fan of the movie.
Okay, excellent. So maybe we'll have to rent it and check it out. This isn't one that we got tickets to go see, like for the podcast or anything. So we don't usually have time in our lives anymore when we're not given free tickets. So it was hard to make the time to go see this one. It's honestly hard to go to the movies anymore, but we make the time. But this one, we didn't get to it. So
I was going to say the other movie they compared it to, and I do not get the same vibes from the trailer.
Okay,
as they said it was. He said you need to see it. It's good. It's like the Demeter. Talk about the last
voyage of the Demeter.
I was
really?
like, I do not.
No, I don't get that vibe at all.
Maybe it just means that he liked them both. Is what I'm taking.
We're gonna have to watch it now. We're talking about it. It's getting me more amped to see it.
And this guy is a very anti-drug person, so this part made me laugh. As I mentioned to him about we were supposed to have Braggy shoot on from Demeter.
Yeah.
But with you and me getting sick and everything, our family's getting sick, we never got around to it.
Yeah.
And I just mentioned, I was like, oh, yeah, we were supposed to interview the writer on our podcast, but unfortunately it didn't work out. He goes, oh, I'd be honored to be on your podcast. I didn't know you wrote The Last Voyage of the Demeter. I don't know why that was your response.
Okay. Well, anyway, bro.
I was going to say, sorry to jump in. I was going to bring up In a Violent Nature.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why it sounded wrong coming out. That's what she said. Did you see the latest trailer that just got released?
Like 2 days ago or 3 days ago? Yeah.
Yeah,
that shit looks awesome.
Yeah. At first, I'm like, is this supposed to be like a more violent version of a Zodiac? Because like he kind of has that like executioner mask.
Yeah, he looks cool as shit. You see the shots of him from behind and everything. Like you could definitely has that bubbly Jason Voorhees look. That bubbly Jason Voorhees.
Bubbly? You mean like his skin bubbly, not like his personality?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like his skin's bubbling. The way that's worded. That's not even the right way to word what I'm trying to say, but I think people get it. Okay.
Anyway, I cut you off.
No, you're good. In a Violent Nature is something though that you and I were talking about, so it is good to bring it up because we are going to be reviewing that soon, probably.
Hopefully,
right?
A screener because I want to see that as soon as possible.
Yeah, for sure. But to move on with today's episode, before we talk about Infected, now I'm like constantly checking to make sure I'm not saying Infected. I said Infected. I did it. It's Infested.
It's like me with Graham
Infested.
Skipper. I keep wanting to call him Graham Spencer.
I don't know why, but Infested. Okay, before we talk about Infested, I wanted to just mention bugs again because I fucking hate them in real life. But I just want to say, who doesn't love a good monster movie about bugs of any sort, right? They're fun movies for the most part. I mean, to me, the scariest story in Creepshow is they're creeping up on you. It's not my favorite, but it's the scariest one. The creepiest part of the food scene in It was the bug and the crab thingy, when they're eating in the Asian restaurant. Bug stories always stick with you. Every summer I do weeks of marathoning movies, right? Like I'll do Animal Week where I'll watch Alligator and Jaws and Grizzly and shit like that. And I'll do Insect Week and Spring Break Week and Alien Week, etc. Insect Week is always one of my favorites because it's so fun. And there's so many options to pick from. You have Ticks, that old Seth Green movie. There's Squirm. The Nest, Stung, Arachnid, The Bay, Arachnophobia, Slug, Slither. Again, I know slugs they're not animals, they're insects. Rather, I'm sorry, slugs are animals and not insects.
Aren't
Jesus
they
Christ,
animals?
I'm tripping. Yeah, they are. I actually Googled that to make sure.
I learned that. I just figured they were bugs.
They're animals and not insects?
Well, I know insect and bugs different because insects specifically 6 legs. So they're not even considered a bug?
I Googled it. It said slugs are considered animals.
I would have figured they would have been in the generalized bug family.
But either way,
So I guess I have to take back my statement now, saying that was one of the bugs I don't like.
Again, those spiders are arachnids. They're not insects either, technically, but they're just
they're bugs.
They're that creepy, crawly, either way. So, but I don't care how tough you are or how pissed off anybody is, in any scenario. everybody runs when there's giant bugs. Everybody fucking runs.
I mean,
That's one thing for sure.
If the bugs were like those 50-foot like bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be running.
I'd be out. 50-foot cockroach?
I mean, let's be honest, I'm not really running.
Well, all right. Well, while we're on the topic, before we get into Infested, yes, what are your 3 favorite insect movies? I'm going to go The Fly. I think that's the obvious one. That's the quintessential bug horror movie, probably. Dario Argento's Phenomena, of course, and The Mist. I know it's more like dinosaur, ancient, like portal from another
bugs.
timeline, but they're bugs. I said from another timeline, I mean from another universe, whatever. But I think Cobweb, the most recent movie, Cobweb, that gets an honorable mention for me because it does. I think it's an insect movie. It has a lot of, well, an arachnid movie rather. It has a lot of spiders in it. It's on the verge of being an insect/arachnid movie.
I mean, The Fly has to be number 1 for me.
All right, okay.
And now, do you just mean insects or just bugs in general?
Creepy crawly, anything.
Okay.
Anything from ants to slugs to fucking anything.
Can I argue Halloween 3's a bug movie? Because there's bugs that come out of the
Oh my God.
I think that might be stretching
I don't think that's ever been, I don't know if anybody's ever tried to argue that before, but that's something to bring up.
I'd have to say Creep It Up On You from Creepshow. I know it's not a movie, but I put it on my list. It's my list. And I'm going to go back to the 50s and say Them. My dad grew up in the 50s, so...
Nice.
My dad, I grew up on his horror movies, just like... Fucking my kid's going to have to deal with growing up on my horror movies. And, like, because my dad used... Basically, he told me as, like, a kid, like... I don't know how many of our viewers are familiar with the old cinemas, but used to get just double features all the time.
Yeah, like Mosquito and Them, like you said.
My dad loved the giant bug movies, and some of them are horrendous, but Them, like, I mean, the designs still hold up from it.
I agree. I like that movie too.
And, I mean, you had all the giant bug movies from the nuclear scares, and so I've watched, like I said, I watched a bunch of them. Also, shout out to Joe's Apartment.
Okay, so I gave Cobweb a shout out, and you gave Joe's Apartment a shout out. Okay.
Joe's Apartment was actually Knowledge Snug. I know that's your thing, kind of more, but that was the first MTV produced movie.
Oh, no shit.
Because it was like short.
That makes sense. It came out around that time, back the like late 90s, right? Probably around like TRL, the booming TRL.
I want to say it might
right?
have been
pre-TRL, maybe.
Yeah, it was definitely pre 2000. I can't remember what year, but I want to say like 90, somewhere like 96 through 99, probably.
Yeah, I remember back in those
with
times.
The Cockroach Band and.
Back in those times, man,
the only time I didn't mind cockroaches just because it's such an absurd movie.
I was like 10 years old back then, bro, and now it's like. There was people who were just being born. I feel old. Every day I'm feeling more and more old. It's getting sad. Anyway, before we get into that...
before we get too depressed.
What are your favorite insect movies, listeners? Write in and tell us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to talk about bug movies or arachnid movies or animal movies or whatever. Let's wrap up this smoke session. Head into our review of Infested.
All right, before we get into...
Infested.
I was just going to say the film today.
Okay. I didn't want you to say Infected.
No, that's you. If we're talking about Graham Skipper, you need to remind me that it's not Graham Spencer.
Spencer Graham, you mean you just got it wrong.
But his name is Graham Skipper.
I believe.
I
don't know anymore, man.
Skipper. Anyway.
I used to know.
For no reason at all, nothing special here. We're just going to do another strain wreck. We're going to spark up another one.
Okay.
I got a half gram this time of Memberberry. Obviously named after South Park. Memberberry.
Let's do it.
Couldn't find anything on there. Must be another newer strain here.
Okay.
But it is 26% THC. And the number one terpene is only 0.9%. It's not even a whole percent of mycerin. And mycerin is a mango citrus herbal flavor, anti-inflammatory, pain relief, antibiotic. I don't know about that. And a sedative. So perfect. Maybe we'll start getting a sedative effect just cruising to bed after this one. But,
yeah, I plan to go to sleep after we're done here. So hopefully it will put me to sleep. But yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about the movie. Bug movies.
Yeah, I was just getting too high there. And then, of course, I don't have my damn notes up. So I got to pull those up. Dude, we're too fucking high. So the smart move is to get higher. I'm just mixing up Infested with Infected. That's all. Besides that, I'm good. Damn, I was going to try to call you out on that.
I'm a realist.
I'm a realist. Anyway, Infested is a 2023 French film directed and co-written by Sebastian Vanek. It stars Theo Christian as Kaleb. Kaleb likes all kinds of small creatures in his room. That sounds more perverted now that I say that out loud. Anyway, he lives with his sister Manon, who is trying to sell their old apartment after the death of their mother.
She's a total bitch. Yeah. But anyway.
And she's a cab, right? Woo. Anyway, I'm just joking. In between taking care of his collection, Kaleb's out there hawking Nike shoes. He has to make sure the boxes for the shoes are pristine. I never got the whole thing about boxes for shoes having to be perfect. No, but I mean, that's not our thing. We're not sneakerheads. So, I mean, but then again, like, we feel that way about boxes for our movies.
Toys.
And shit, and, like, figures.
Yeah.
And, like, my Halloween, when I got it from, was it Scream Factory? I forget.
Yeah, yeah.
The corner of it on the slip cover is a little bent, and it fucking bothers me.
Of course. Yep, that always gets to you.
Anyway, he buys a spider from a shop that looks like it was out of Gremlins now.
Yeah, right. Kind of like an everything type of...
Yeah. Kaleb names her Rihanna, and as you can guess, Rihanna ends up causing a lot of problems for the residents in the high-rise. She's pregnant and lays a lot of eggs, and like a lot.
In a short amount of time, too.
But spiders do lay a lot of eggs. Not necessarily as many as Rihanna laid, but they do lay a lot.
But the thing is, we don't really know much about these spiders. There's not really any real... All we know is that they're
the Michael Myers of spiders.
They're very old, and they're very volatile, and they're malevolent.
They kind of look like camel spiders.
Kind of. But yeah, all we know is that they're old, they've been around a long time, and apparently they can take shit over quick.
Yeah, like super hella quick. Anyway, Kaleb, along with his sister and some friends, have to escape the building, all while not being bitten by these spiders. If you get bit, that venom is fucking nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Spiders come rushing out of your head and shit. It was pretty fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
The film is supposed to be a political commentary as well. I mean, I can see it based on, the apartment complex they live in. But it isn't something I think is really front and center or really even focused on.
100% agree.
The complex they live in is run down, like I said, and they have no electricity at times, but I thought the political part of it was very thin at best. For my rating here, the pros here are the spiders look fantastic.
Yeah.
The characters are likable. The movie's very tense. There was a couple times that I was like, like I was watching it and eating, and I'm like, I don't want to eat right now. All the squishing and everything going on. I was like, I don't want to eat.
I don't want to eat.
I was eating some gabagool and cheese, and I toasted the cheese, so the cheese was like really like squishy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but cheese is delicious, but it will definitely be one of the things that fucking turns your appetite if you're like watching something gross.
And the cons for me are the movie seemed too dark at times. It feels like there are times when the characters need to be moving, but they're busy sharing their feelings and talking. Also, the spiders in real life, it says in the movie, like, there's a scene where they want to keep the light on because the spiders won't do anything. But in real life, spiders aren't attracted to light, but most of their prey is attracted to light, so they'll usually be around light sources. I mean, I guess you could argue that, but the ending felt very 28 Days Later to me. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I can see that, totally.
And overall, it's not a bad bug movie. I give it a 7.4 out of 10.
Nice, okay. This movie, to me, it's everything that I wanted Itsy Bitsy to be. That was a disappointing movie.
Yeah, you were very disappointed by that.
Spider movies run rampant when it comes to the arachnid subgenre. Just search spider or tarantula on Tubi and see how many search results there are.
I mean, there's literally tarantula from the 50s.
Right. But the point is, though, is that very few get it right. And to me, Infested gets it right. My wife told me that the plot sounded terrible, and I said to her, when's that ever stopped me from watching a movie before? Right?
Normally, I would have probably skipped it, not to cut you off, but the thing that sold me was the poster. I thought the spiders looked really good.
Same. I was like, I agree. It looks really cool the way it's like the head back, mouth open, and the spiders crawling. Very cool poster design. But my wife and I watched it, and we both loved it because it focuses on the characters. And that's kind of one of the things that I guess, maybe you think they went a little too much into that. But
I felt like really, at the times where it was paced, is they're hiding in another room and they're trying to escape. But now they're going to sit down and talk about everything with their family.
I just liked that the characters are rooted in reality. And like you said about the side hustle with the shoes, they're poor and they're struggling and they're surviving, not thriving. So to me, I was really rooting for these guys to make it. I appreciated, that they were down and out and they were trying to do something to better their situation, even if it might not, be working. And by not focusing on the spiders, I think that kept them scary. Like not showing Bruce the shark too much. You never know when one was going to drop in. So there was constant paranoia for me. I'd have my lights on 24/7 and gladly pay that electric bill if that kept those fucking things away, though. I'll tell you that right now. A higher electric bill is an easy fucking fix for that scenario. But I agree, the visual effects in the spiders look amazing. They did an amazing job. I mean, rather the effects crew, they did a fantastic job. The spiders looked great. They really brought them to life. They looked really lifelike, and I mean they're horrifyingly beautiful. That's the way I would put it, because it's like, oh my god, they're fucking terrifying, but they're also like, damn, they're really cool looking. This might be the best spider movie yet. Leave it to the French. I'm glad this guy is the one who's in charge of the next Evil Dead movie. I told you, we talked about that last week. Sebastian Van Eyck, yeah. Infested is creepy. I've said that word a lot this episode. It's fun and it's unconventionally intelligent. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
A little higher than I would go, but I mean, it's still a solid movie, and I feel like the atmosphere that he set in this movie, I agree with you. I think he's a good choice for the next Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, I'm glad. I didn't know of him. I don't think anybody really knew of him before this, but I think Bruce and Sam, yet again, they know how to pick one, man.
Also, yeah, those spiders, they also grow hella fast.
Yeah, dude, that one was big as shit in front of the car at the end. Oops, spoiler. Yeah. That's a big one, fucking.
And they got that right because of like tarantulas and stuff. That is usually their defensive posture, to throw the front legs back and show their fangs.
Freeze. Like the popo got them.
But yeah, I wonder if they used any real spiders, or was it all CG?
I don't know, but it's funny because when I think of spider, not spider movies, but a spider attack scene, I think of one of my favorite, probably my favorite Lucio Fulci film, The Beyond, and that scene where the librarian's attacked by the spiders, and they look so like fake, and that's one of the things, like, you love it, but at the same time you're like, man, they really tried to blend real tarantulas with fake ones, but you could really tell which ones were the fake ones, and
yeah.
Now you look at the tarantulas in this movie or whatever the fuck these things are, and yeah, they're pretty fucking cool looking. Like I said, this might be the best spider one yet for me, the best spider horror.
And not a big spoiler, but the thing that fucking got me, the one time it really did get me, was when he stomps on the spider and then it turns into all the smaller ones.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Again, spoiler.
But I mean, I think it's pretty. If I remember correctly, it's pretty early in the movie.
Yeah. There's another scene that I'll give one more spoiler that I'll just say right here because we're about done anyway. I just wanted to say when the bull wakes up and like starts like scratching his arm, and then like the spiders start crawling out of his arm. I was like, oh, I am fucking out. Oh my god, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done. So, about wrap that up for our review. Thanks to all the horror hounds and smokers out there for tuning in. Make sure to join us next week when we review Saw. X gonna give it to you. Just Saw X.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say when you said Saw X, I was gonna jump in with gonna give it to you.
Yeah, it's just Saw : X gonna give it to you. Anyway, I don't have high hopes for it. But anyway, we're gonna review it for you. Make sure to follow us online, High on Horror 420, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter /X, TikTok, High on Horror 420 at gmail.com for any PPA questions you have for us. Check out our website, highonhorror.com. And that'll about wrap her up. Catch you later.
Please hit that like and subscribe button. Catch you next week.